this week's all about mindful and intuitive eating. So what is mindful eating? So mindful eating is actually about being really attentive to your food. It's about how you buy, prepare, serve and eat your food. The biggest things to think about with mindful eating is actually slowing the whole process down. It's about really taking time to use your five senses, sight, sound, smell, touch and the taste of your food, and actually taking time to make your food look good, make it taste good, make it smell good, chew your food properly, and it's just really slowing the whole process down.
And so intuitive eating we're starting to hear a lot about as well. It's become quite a food movement actually, and I know it's one that I really resonate with, because intuitive eating is all about, and sort of the clue is in the title there, listening to yourself, listening to your intuition, following your gut feeling about food. And so it really is that sense of listening to yourself, about eating a range of foods without any negative emotion being attached to the food. We have fallen into this way of talking about food where food is good and food is bad, and I mean I don't know how we judge those things, but for example, if you are eating one of those cheap cakes from Woolies, nothing against Woolies of course, in your bedroom by yourself at 10 o'clock at night because you've had a breakup with your boyfriend, that's something quite different to enjoying maybe your favorite carrot cake, that's my favorite cake, at a party with friends. And so cake in and of itself is therefore not bad, but the way that you are choosing to eat cake could maybe be considered, one of them is maybe better than the other in that circumstance. And it really is about listening to yourself, about reconnecting to this innate ability to know when we are hungry and know when we are full. And it really is an innate ability, because I like to bring up the example of a baby. So, when you have a small baby, you know that you can never overfeed it. And believe me, I've tried, because I had small children. I would try, once they were on the bottle, to get them to drink extra meals in the hope that they might sleep a little bit longer, and the baby would just lie there and the milk would come out the side of their mouth. They certainly weren't lying there going, this tastes yum, I think I'll just have some more, I'll save some for later. They are stopping because they've had enough, they are satisfied. So it really is about eating until you're satisfied, which once again is a massive part of what we propose and what we promote on our L.E.A.N programs. It is listening to yourself and eating until you do feel satisfied. So it's connecting to that innate ability that we have to know that when we are hungry and to know when we're full. And an easy way that we explore a lot further in our 8 weeks to L.E.A.N program, and which we sort of touch on in the emotional eating course, is the hunger scale. Now it's quite simple, and it's an easy way to really begin to learn or relearn, if you like, to connect to these hunger signals. And when we're thinking about the hunger scale, on one side we have number 1 over here, and on this side we have number 10. Now, at number 1, you're starving hungry. At number 1, you're going to drive past Macca's, pick up a Big Mac, stop off and get some mash and gravy from Kentucky Fried Chicken across the road. That you really have lost a lot of control over your choice of food at this point, because you've let yourself just become too hungry. And remember, there is a part of our brain, a very powerful part, that is working hard not to let us be hungry. You're hungry, it's trying to fulfill that need. So being at a 1 over here is never a good idea. Being at a 10, equally not a good idea, because we know when we're at a 10, that is when you have completely overeaten. You will feel sick, you will be lying in bed thinking, I wish I hadn't had that last burrito, whatever it was.
Too full.
Way too full. And so we don't really want to be at a 1 and we don't want to be at a 10. But however, if we sort of brought that in, maybe you can imagine there's a bit of a flashing red sign at those points. But if we bring that scale in maybe to a 3 until a 7, so being at a 3, you're hungry, but you are also in control. You can make good food choices. The other thing, of course, when you're too hungry is what happens, you eat very fast. And so it's easy to go from a 1 to a 10. When you're at a 3, you can be more mindful. You can eat slower. You can appreciate your food. Therefore, you eat less. Therefore,
food properly.
you chew, you digest your food better. So everything is working for you. And so also stopping eating at the right time, stopping eating when we get to a 7. We don't have to wait, knowing that it takes, I don't know, Tammy, it's about 20 minutes for food to
For
fully...
the brain to connect.
Yeah.
With full. Yeah.
And so, of course, it makes sense. And in fact, mindful eating is a very, very successful, in and of itself, way to lose weight when people do it properly. And I'm sure it's probably because of that. People are eating slower.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, when we're looking at the hunger scale, we are wanting to operate from that 3 and stopping eating, listening to our bodies when we are satisfied. Satisfied is our key word. And so, when we are trying to sort of reconnect to those hunger feelings and become familiar with our bodies again, because I know I've worked with people that have said that they haven't heard their tummy rumble like in decades because they've never given themselves the opportunity to feel hungry. And so when we are looking at that hunger scale that goes from 1 to 10, getting into that idea of, and I know that I've done it, Tammy, I don't know if you have, it's interesting because it's a bit difficult to start with, like, how hungry am I? Then I'll be like, maybe I'm a 5 or a 6. But we know that when we're anything sort of that 5, 6 mark, that we're not really hungry and perhaps we're hungry for something else. So asking those questions, how hungry am I? Checking in with that hunger scale. And then, of course, the next question is, what am I really hungry for?